So we've already checked out the first dynasty here in Ethiopia and one of the top dynasties in the history of Africa, and that was Aksum, the city of Aksum. Now we are in the location of the second dynasty. This city, formerly known as Roha, is Lalibela. How do we get the name Lalibela, and what makes the city so special? What makes the city so special is that this is considered the Jerusalem of Africa. This is one of the most holiest cities in the world. Behind me, you will see two special, what they call Rock-Hewn Churches. You're going to continue to hear that a lot in Ethiopia. You're going to hear this term, Rock-Hewn Churches. These churches are able to stand the test of times over hundreds and thousands of years. This is what makes them so special. The architecture is second to none. Obviously, we know that they did not have the materials that we have of today, but yet and still, or the technology, but yet and still, these churches still stand. Now, what makes Lalibela a place that's sought out by many people around the world? First of all, Lalibela comes from King Lalibela, aka Gebrew Meskel Lalibela. At birth is what he was named. Here's the story. His mother, at birth, knew that this kid would be a king at birth. And when he was born, he had a lot of bees around him. And Lalibela, Lali meaning bees, Bella means eaten. So it translates into eaten by bees. Now, I don't know if that's literal. If he was literally eaten by bees, he couldn't have been, because he turned out to be the king. Yet and still, because he had all those bees, mom named him Lalibela. Now, let me tell you what's special about this. In the calendar of the West, I believe we call it the Gregorian calendar, he was born on December the 25th. Here in Ethiopia, he was born on December 29th. Is that correct?
Yeah.
The 29th is when he was born. So here's the other interesting part. He was also born in a cave. Who else was born in a cave? In Bethlehem. That's right. Jesus Christ. So Lalibela is not only a special city because of the name, but because of the king that's also a saint. So he's a saint and he's a king, which makes it even all the more special. Now, he went to, what made this king start to build all of these different churches and do all these different things here? While in Israel, he basically asked God to help me to build up my country. I want to serve my people. I want to build up my country. And what happened is when he returned from his pilgrimage, you can say pilgrimage, 10 years ago, or not 10 years ago, during 10 years, at least, give or take, right? During that time, when he came back, he started to build these churches. He asked for the help of the Most High, and the Most High granted Lalibela assistance in constructing so many different rock churches. I believe it was 11 rock churches.
Yeah, we have 11.
11, right? We have 11 rock churches here. So you have 11 rock churches here in Lalibela. Now, we're just seeing two, right?
Yeah, no, we have different groups. The first groups consist about 5 churches.
5 churches?
5 churches. Yeah.
Okay.
We have Beta Medhanialam.
Yep.
Beta Mariam. Beta Meskel.
Okay.
Beta Denagel. We have twin churches.
Twin churches.
And Golgotha.
Okay.
Golgotha is where Saint Lalibela graved.
Okay.
And it is connected with Gebrew Meskel Church.
So it's connected. That's where Lalibela is buried, right?
Yeah,
King
he's
Lalibela.
buried in Golgotha.
In Golgotha. He's buried.
Golgotha is, a symbol of a grave of Jesus or Adam.
Yeah, that's another thing too. The grave of Jesus, they mimicked it and they put it here. They mimicked 2 other things. It was 2 other things that they have that they did, just like in Israel. Not in Israel, is it Israel? They did the grave of Jesus. What else did they did something else.
There is
like a couple of different replicas, you know, where they redo it, but they do it here in Lalibela.
Yeah.
It'll come to me, but the grave of Jesus was definitely one of them. But it just goes to show you how special Lalibela, King Lalibela was, and he became king through a lineage of basically the monarchy system, right? Your father or grandfather, however it worked, it's unclear exactly how he became king to me. But the other special thing is with all of these rock churches that are still standing, because we're still watching them, what makes this stuff pretty special is that over the course of time building all these churches, they didn't have the machinery. Was it 23,000 people participated or 46,000?
No, in general, it takes about 23 years.
23
more
years.
More than 40,000 people participate according to the biography of Saint Lalibela.
Right. More than 40,000 people participated in building these rock churches, and it took 23 years without the technology of today.
No cement.
No, right.
Nothing.
No cement, no nothing. Straight rock. Okay, so you can take a look and you can see why this is so. We're gonna go down into the churches. We're gonna go down into. These are just two, by the way. These are just two churches that we are actually checking out here. But even more impressive is that notice that the churches, they go down. You see how they go down in the ground? So the architecture here, the architecture here is special because it's going down. Typically when you build something, you start with a foundation, right? You start at the bottom, you start with a foundation, you start and you build up. These guys started and built down. So they start at the top and then they established a foundation at the bottom. So that's what makes that pretty smooth. And these churches, people come from all over the world to check out the Jerusalem of Africa. Wow, these churches are still standing. Get a look at this. Check this out. Still standing. Look at this. Wow. Wow. Yeah. This is special.
Well,
now this right here up top, that's recent, right? They built that to help.
This is set by UNESCO to protect
UNESCO.
The church from, the church from the sun.
From the sun.
From the sun and from the
decay.
Wind or from the rain, because there is weathering. So the church may be,
I understand that maybe it started to get weak and fall apart.
Erosion.
Yeah, so erosion. So the roof here was donated and created by UNESCO to preserve the church, to basically preserve everything that you see here, which I'm still amazed by the materials.
Christmas is the biggest festival here. A lot of people gather from different parts of the world.
Okay. And
celebrate here in Lalibela. But at the same time, we celebrate also the birth of Saint Lalibela.
The birth of the same way as Christmas, right there. So people walk. They come from all over the country. They walk, right? Not an hour, not 2 hours, sometimes days, weeks, even longer than that, because their faith is that strong in the Most High, and the respect and the admiration for this location, and the power, or I would say the ability. Lalibela was called something of the cross. He was called not the purveyor of the cross, the servant of the cross. That's what Lalibela was called. Lalibela is called the servant. King Lalibela was called the servant of the cross. So you have to understand why people would come by the 10s, 20s, 30, 50,000, 100,000 people during this time that he's speaking about,
100,000.
100,000, yeah. During this time of year, even. You can't even move through these places. It's so crowded, correct?
Yes.
Like there's so many people here that you can't even move.
You can imagine more than 300 or 400 people are gathering in such a small city to celebrate the festivals and at the same time to celebrate the birth of Saint Lalibela.
Exactly.
So basically it's one of the biggest events or biggest
events.
Religious festival in Ethiopia.
Yeah, and I would say in the world, I don't know anywhere where they are 200,000 people, 100,000 people are walking to a destination. So you want to talk about some faith. We already spoke about in Aksum, we spoke about the Ark of the Covenant, but this place here is the holy city of Ethiopia, the holiest city. So you know how in the West, let me show you how traditional and how serious it is with religion here. And this actually keeps a lot of things down, which is why I respect it. Here, the men and women do not go in the same entrance. The men enter the church in the north, the women enter the church in the west, the clergymen, the pastors, the deacons, or whatever, what have you, they enter the church from the east. And when you enter the church, I do believe that you have to take off your shoes, right?
Yeah.
Why do you have to take off your shoes? What is the reasoning behind it?
It is written in the Bible.
Okay.
Jesus was mentioned for Moses.
Right.
This place is the Holy of Holies.
Okay.
So take off your shoes. So
that makes a lot of, and back home we have the custom when we go into people's houses, or at least me, I like to remove my shoes when I enter people's homes. It's just a custom. So what we may see here is the ladies, they like to help you remove your shoes, right? Do they?
we have staff who take care of our shoe, either men or women.
Okay.
But one person will be follow us all the church.
Yep.
They just take care of your shoe.
Okay.
When you get inside.
Yeah. So that's. Hey, listen. That's. Matter of fact, off the subject, I want to say that here, I noticed that women were like washing their men's feet when they get home. Is that a What was that about? What is that about?
No, this is a tradition. It came from long times ago.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a kind of respect that
Respect.
is still in the countryside.
I love that.
Wives are washing their husband's legs while he came from far places.
Okay.
They feel he's tired. So it's a kind of giving attention and
giving attention and respect.
and respect.
Yeah, I need that. I need my wife doing that right there, man, because Lord knows a brother puts in a lot of work. The other thing that I wanted to mention is you see these pillars. Now these pillars here, they're not from 2,000 years ago or 1,500 years ago. The last pillar there, the very last pillar, was original. The rest of these pillars are constructed by the daughter of Menelik II to be exact. Zuditu is her name, and she also was a ruler. So here, right here in this space right here, is the old school baptism pool. Now, you know, in the West, in church, they have the pool inside the church, and they dip you in and they baptize you. Here, it's a little bit more regulated. Not a little bit, a lot more strict. For the boys, after birth, you have to wait 40 days. For the girls, after birth, you have to wait 80 days. Prior to the baptism, the priest will come and bless the water, right? Before the ceremony, bless the water. And then after, if you're a boy, 40 days, you can get baptized. If you're a girl, 80 days, you can get baptized. But you see how old school this is. This is beyond old school. This is ancient. But this is the baptism pool. My question is, do they still use this for baptisms?
I think not now.
Not now?
Not now.
Okay.
Because now they go to the church, inside the church, and then after the ceremony, they have water, and they buy materials.
Okay, so it's more modern now, but This is how it used to go. If you can see the hole behind me, this hole right here was made for prayers, quiet time prayers. So you can see there's a hole here. There's a hole over there. There are holes throughout. You see the holes in the wall. So what would happen is elders who they needed peace and quiet during prayer. So what they would do is they would climb in and they would pray extended amounts of time. So obviously it doesn't seem like a guy like myself would be able to fit in there comfortably. But again, you're talking about people with faith that's unmeasured, right? And there still exist these types of people today all over the world, of course. But these holes in the walls, let's get another close up. These holes in the wall it's just unbelievable. So imagine going in there to pray. This is the hole you're in, and you're in there for hours. Extended prayer. Imagine that. Extended prayer for hours. So you can understand why Lalibela is the holiest city in Africa and one of the holiest cities on the planet. I mean, look at what they had set up. They had a robust system years ago. Years and years and years ago. So I think we're getting at the back side of the church. Now these are original pillars, right?
Those are not.
No, oh, these are not.
Here are the original pillars.
Okay, yeah, these are original.
And here two pillars are original.
Yep, I can tell.
New or constructed or renovated pillars.
I can definitely tell. Headed inside the church. Oh man.
You can come that way.
All right. Inside the church of Lalibela.
So this is how the church looks like from inside. So as it is believed to be the biggest monolithic churches in the world, and we have 72 pillars altogether, 36 from inside, 36 from outside. So this is how it looks like from inside.
So we are going into another, is this a church?
Yeah, St. Mary.
St. Mary. Okay, so we're going into
Through the tunnel.
St. Mary. Yeah, we're going into through a tunnel right now. So here we go. St. Mary, aka the Virgin Mary. Behind me is another baptism pool, and these flies are insufferable. But behind me is another baptism pool. But I want to bring your attention to something and show you a place that the King Lalibela set up, reserved. King Lalibela put extra emphasis on crosses, right, for obvious reasons. So he was a collector of crosses, and anybody that brought crosses or from different places, he would save these crosses, and he would store them in this place right here. I believe here is where it's at. Here. Inside of here is called, I think, Gebrew Meskel. Gebrew Meskel. I believe that's it. Where all of the different crosses are stored. So remember, King Lalibela is considered the servant of the cross. And so having these different crosses is just a part of his line of work. It's a part of his, was a part of his life's purpose, which is why he dedicated this place, the House of Meskel, which is, he has the crosses inside of there stored, collecting crosses from everywhere. So we know how many women are having sexual reproductive system illnesses. I know because I'm in nutrition. Well, back in the day, what King Lalibela would do is he would have you come to the fertility pool. This right here is known as the fertility pool. And this is where women, not men, women would come and they would bathe in the fertility pool. Now my question is, what makes this the fertility pool? What were they doing exactly? What were they, did they put something in it?
Yeah, they believe like it's like a kind of baptize, but they just put them inside and they will pull them. And they put them in the pool.
Dip them in and pull them out. So they were dipping women in and dipping them in and out, basically.
So this, they believe that it has a spirit to
to reverse any inabilities to conceive, and you would be able to conceive after. Remember, everything starts in the brain. Whatever you believe on will eventually or essentially happen. So this behind me is the fertility pool. Now today we try to give you herbs. We work with the mind. We try to change your diet, but something like this would also be great if you are having issues with conceiving, right? So it's not just about going alkaline diet or going this or that, but it's also the mind. The mind is important. Faith is important. Faith without works is dead, however. So you gotta believe, but you also want to change your life, your lifestyle.
They call it Mount Tabor.
Mount Tabor?
Mount Tabor.
Yeah.
So this is Beta Gabriel, the first church from the second group of the church. So it's an octagonal church, as you see. So there is water reserve down there.
Okay. A lot of pathways, secret pathways. Wow.
So it's good to be here because we can spot 3 different churches from one point. So this is a small chapel believed to be where the holy bread is packed, and this we call it Bethlehem, that symbolizes
Bethlehem,
where
right?
Jesus born. Then from Bethlehem we have underground tunnel from here to Beta Mercurius. So Mercurius is the church.
Yep.
Not that one with the shelter.
Okay.
But before.
Up under?
That one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we can go underground tunnel, and then the tunnel indicates the hills, and you'll be from hill to heaven.
Okay.
Hill to heaven when you arrive or when you reach it.
So one of the things that's important to note is that this area, Lalibela, which was the second kingdom, one of the things that King Lalibela and the people, his successors that followed him, what they did was they focused on religion. In focusing on religion, you can be okay for a while, you know, focusing on the monarch system. No, focusing on religion. But the issue is that they failed to focus on politics. And because of that, that's what led to this dynasty essentially falling. And so the power shifted from here and it shifted to Gondar, which is another area here in Ethiopia, because they always wanted to try to shift the power back to Aksum, but from here it went to Gondar because here they focused on religion pretty much and not necessarily politics. So they lasted for a while, but probably not as long as they could have lasted. So the thing to remember is that Lalibela was constructed, all of these churches, the entire city was constructed as the Jerusalem of Africa. So what you're gonna see is a lot of symbolism. They have many names from Israel. So right up there, if you can see, not quite here, not this rooftop, but if you can see past to the mountain, you'll see that up there are olive trees. You may not be able to see it, but there are olive trees at the top of that mountain. And the purpose of mentioning that is to mention that that area is called Mount Olive. Just like you have Mount Olive, you have Mount Tabor. They have an area here where they call the Jordan River. They have a couple of different things that they have, but it's all in respect and in honor to what was happening in Israel. There was a couple other places you said that they have here.
We have here Mount Olives.
Yep, Mount Olives.
You said side, there is Mount Tabor also.
Mount Tabor,
behind this.
Okay.
Where the second beginning.
Yep.
And we have Jordan River here.
Jordan River.
Symbolized Jordan, where Jesus baptized.
Yep.
We have Bethlehem, where the
Bethlehem.
holy bread backen.
Yep.
And we have
Mount Sinai, right?
Mount Sinai. We have
Yep.
Golgotha, Tomb of Adam. So
Okay.
that's why
Tomb of Adam,
the place
Golgotha.
the place is
Mount Sinai.
believed to be the second Jerusalem in Africa, or we call it African Petra.
Right, African Petra, the second Jerusalem here in Africa. So that's what this place symbolizes, which is why so many people from around the world come here. Tourism is really huge here. It's really huge. So the city is essentially just churches everywhere, just built. And the faith of the people here is very strong. You know, I'm barely getting up and down these hills. You see these guys, they get up and down. The elders, they get up and down like it's nothing every day. You got to remember also that here is above sea level. It's so high above sea level. So the oxygen is going to be different. So it's a little tougher to breathe. Even as an athlete, even if you train and work out, you got to get used to walking up and down these hills and in and out of these churches. You know, it's no joke. Salam.
Salam.
Gebrew
Meskel.
So yeah, you know, working on my Amharic a little bit. You know, got to work on that. Crossing this bridge. So we have arrived to the last, probably most popular church. Now they consider it the third group of churches, but you can see it's only one church, right? And this is the Church of St. George. It is believed that King Lalibela had a kinship with St. George, right? They call it St. George Church, right? So they call it St. George Church, even though King Lalibela built the church. It's also meant to mimic Noah's Ark, correct? Yes. So on the church, some of the windows are closed, correct? Like Noah was trying to keep the mammals inside the ark to keep them from escaping. So this is the reason. Remember, Lalibela is simply a bunch of symbolism from over in Jerusalem. So there's a great respect for the land of Jerusalem. So you see a lot of different symbolism here. So this church, because it's believed to be the last work of King Lalibela, what you also notice is you can notice the geometry, right? The architecture is much better. If you look at the top, you will see that there's a water drainage system at the top. And no matter where you move from, if you move to different angles, the idea is to make the church look the same. So it's a cross within a cross. Remember, Lalibela is known as the servant of the cross. So it's fitting that his last piece of work, at least on record, is a church with a cross at the top. So I imagine if you were in a helicopter, if you were in an airplane, depending upon how low you were, you'd be able to identify this particular church from high up. So that's pretty cool to see the cross up high. It looks pretty interesting to get into the church. Not that I'm trying to go into the church because we have to go down anyway. We'll go down there, but this is evidence of them improving on their architecture here in the holy city of Africa, the Jerusalem of Africa, known as Lalibela, named after King Lalibela. So this is pretty cool. Can people get in there? Do people go in there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So we're gonna go down and we're gonna check it out. Down low, we're gonna get a couple of quick views before we move on.
So who can meet such type of amazing things from top to bottom?
Yeah. And this is built from top to bottom?
Yeah.
Not from bottom to top. That's amazing. Wow. So to get into this church right here, St. George, you would have to go through this tunnel right here. Those steps over there. You would walk down and you would come through here. And you go all the way around and down into the church. Through this cave. That's a heck of an entrance. So we just finished checking out St. George, and that architecture is something else. It's pretty smooth, pretty serious. So we're about to get out of here. That completes all the churches. Checking out the city. This is Lalibela, the holy city, the Jerusalem of Africa.